This is Videobob, and I want you to meet somebody who's really important in the history of not only custom cars, but movie cars.
Yes.
Now, you've been doing this for a very, very long time.
Yes, I have.
And there's a lot of innovations that you brought to the car industry that didn't exist before you first did them.
That's true.
So what are some of the things that you're probably most known for?
Well, the sunken antennas. I put in dual antennas and then sunk them in the fender. And I did that for a number of years, but I kind of created that sunken antenna in the fender.
Didn't you do some innovations with paint and things as well?
I created the blending of paint, sometimes called the Winfield fade.
Yes.
You know, and so I'm still doing that today.
Is this one of your cars there?
Yes.
So we'll show a shot of that. It demonstrates how you've done a two-tone fade. So imagine, if you will, back in the old days, your car came in one color, and if it had two colors, it had a chrome strip defining them. This is the first guy to blend the two colors into a fade.
Yes.
So imagine that didn't exist before this dude did it.
Thank you.
Now, the reason my viewers like to watch my channel is because they worship the movies of the 80s, which I feel are the golden era of sci-fi.
Yes.
And some of the greatest films that came out, like, for instance, The Last Starfighter, which is shown in your book, Gene Winfield's TV and Movie Cars book.
Yes.
Do you have this on your website or something for sale?
Yeah, I do.
I have this book. I suggest that everybody gets it. I'll put a link to that in the description. So you worked on The Last Starfighter, which my good friend Kevin Pike says he had some work on that movie as well.
Yes.
And probably most famously, what I'm known for is making replicas of the DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future. But you made a lot of cars for Back to the Future too, as well.
Of course, yes.
So let's talk about that. You did the police car for Hill Valley.
Right.
And was that based on anything in particular? Or?
No, I used a movie car body that I had that was a previous use in Back to the Future, and so I had the molds. So I made the body and painted it like a police car, and so I used that police car for a few other films as well. But I shall have one of those. I have it in my front yard.
Yeah. Isn't that great? He's got the movie car from Back to the Future too in his front yard. Was there some leftover inspiration from Blade Runner into that car, maybe?
Oh yeah.
Now, if you've been to the Peterson Automotive Museum in LA, you'll see a lot of stuff at the sci-fi display that you had there.
They recently had, for a year, they had all sci-fi stuff, and I had 6 cars in there for a year, and now we took three of them back home, and so there's still 3 cars of mine in the Peterson Museum.
That's unbelievable. Wow. Let's see. I know you did the what's known as the Texaco car, which was supposed to be a Ferrari. A lot of people don't. I don't think a lot of people translated that was a Ferrari.
Right.
I know my buddy Rusty has it hanging up in his car museum.
Right.
What was the inspiration for that? Was it just were there some artist sketches brought to you, or were these out of your own head?
They quite often in the movie industry, they would show me sketches or renderings or something that an artist would do, and then I would create the cars from that. Or they would let me design the cars and then bring them to the producer or the director to get his okay, and then if he says okay, then I went ahead and built them. So I created a lot of those myself that were totally different from anything else.
I think one of my favorite movies, me being from Dallas, which was filmed in Dallas, RoboCop. You worked on a lot of stuff from RoboCop. I remember Jay Oberg telling me that they were trying to build a car for RoboCop, and then they discovered that he could not actually fit into the car.
Right.
So they scrapped that and used the Ford Taurus.
He had a chop-top Camaro.
But you did the SUX 6000.
Yes.
Now, what was that car made out of?
Well, it was Volkswagen.
Really?
I stretched a Volkswagen chassis, and I stretched it 12 inches. And used the Volkswagen pan and then built the whole body on fiberglass.
Wow, how many of those did you make?
Oh, I think 6.
Really? You got any of those left over?
1.
Do you really? Oh my gosh, I would love an SUX 6000. That's fantastic. What do you think is your favorite movie car that you worked on?
I think Back to the Future too.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Is that so? Is there a particular car out of all the cars you've ever done that you're probably most known for? Like George Barris, obviously people would say the Batmobile, right?
Yeah.
What would they say for you?
the Starfighter, the last Starfighter,
Of course.
and just different ones. But I did a lot of movie cars that people didn't know.
Yeah.
Didn't know the history and don't even know yet that I built them.
Really? And these are things I'm still discovering, getting to know you.
Yes, that's true.
And, you know, we all love George, God rest his soul. I was there at his funeral. But what we all know about George is George would walk around, he would just sign hoods and stuff.
Right.
And there's a lot of cars that maybe his shop was putting out that people maybe thought was his, but really wasn't one of his cars. It was just something he was promoting.
Right.
And so
George,
maybe he would have some of Dick's stuff or
George
your
was
stuff.
a great promoter.
Yes.
He was a fabulous promoter. And he, like when him and Sam first got started, Sam was doing the work and George was doing the promoting, and Sam got tired of it and left and went back to Sacramento.
I think, well, I've learned a lot from George, and I kind of started to take on that role as I'm less hands-on with the cars than I used to be, and I'm more into the promotional field now, like with this TV channel that we do.
Right.
So, you know, I kind of get where he's coming from there, because he really made a name for himself that way.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons I want to do an interview with you today is I feel like you've always been really humble and kind of under the radar, and you don't self-promote yourself the way George did. And I think that the people that are interested in these cars and the history of how these things came to be, they really need to know who you are.
Yeah, thank you.
It's my personal goal to get all of our fans out there who love these movie cars, especially from the 80s, to learn more about Gene, the contributions that he made to the car industry. Get his book, which is essential reading if you're into movie cars. I just got my copy today, and I can't wait to spend, you know, I can't wait to go to the bathroom.
so I can read my book.
But I remember one of my, you may not remember this. This was a couple of years ago. You were at Autorama in Dallas, and I showed up, and I had reminded you that I'd met you. And you were in the middle of sawzawing off the roof of a 55 Cadillac.
Yes.
And you pointed to me and you said, "Hey, you, grab the other end of this." And I helped you take the top off of it. And I thought to myself, I just helped Gene chop a Cadillac.
That's right.
That's classic.
And we had fun.
And the thing is, you know, how old are you now? Can I ask?
What?
How old are you now?
94.
Oh my gosh. So you were probably maybe 90 at the time.
Yeah, maybe.
This dude is still sawzawing, he's still working. I could only hope to one day still be working. Because I'm telling you, you're spry. You're doing great.
Thank
You're
you.
sharp as a tack.
Thank
and I've
you.
seen you physically work only a couple of years ago. So
Thank you.
I'm really, really impressed. And I am really honored to have gotten to be able to meet you and talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all your contributions to all the great movies that we've enjoyed over the last 30, 40 years. And the innovations you've done with these other cars. And I really hope people come and visit and order some of your stuff. Now tell me about your school that you're doing. You're doing classes.
I teach classes on weekends, and I do them maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
And so I'm having a class this coming Saturday.
Where's your shop located?
In Mojave, California.
Okay.
And
That's hot. That's hot, Mojave.
Yeah.
Since moving here to Vegas, I learned how hot it is. You know, Death Valley is only 100 miles from here, and it gets to be 130 degrees outside.
Right.
I don't know how you
I've
survive
been
out there.
I did a commercial there one time, and it was 124.
It's too hot.
It was,
So July and August, I'm going to find somewhere else to go outside of Vegas. I'm going to have to find a vacation spot. But I definitely want to come see your class as soon as I get the chance. And if I do, I'll get some more video while I come out there.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Get back to it. Thank you, Gene.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right, bye-bye.
Hey, and if you guys like this stuff, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Thank you. Bye-bye.